Welcome to the First Customers Podcast. Today we have Nathan Hirsch with us. He started a business called Free Up with $5,000, then built it up over 4 years to earn $12 million a year in revenue. He then sold that business, and now he owns and manages several new businesses that we're going to talk about today. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here. Sorry for rescheduling you a bunch, but I
No
appreciate
problem.
you being accommodating.
Yes, sir. All right. Take us back to when you first got started and how you got your very first customers.
Yeah, so I kind of three parts of this. I mean, first of all, I learned how to sell just at a young age. I had a lot of jobs and internships. I never had a real job after college, but I had a lot of high school and summer jobs. And one of the funny ones was an internship at Firestone, which they sell tires and car services. I know nothing about cars. I am not a cars guy. And they threw me into the fire and had me sell car services. So I'd go out to the back, talk to the technician, try to go out to the front, put in layman's terms and sell it to the customer. And I'd crash it, burns at first. And by the end, I was one of the top salespeople, being a high school and then eventually like a freshman in college before I left that. So that was my first selling experience. And then my first company, which was an Amazon business, and I got into Amazon super early, 2008, 2009. No one really knew what Amazon was. We just threw products online. It was all trial and error. Amazon brought the customers. There was no PPC. There was no SEO. It was all trial and error, trying to figure out what would people buy. And we landed on baby products. And ironically, I'm buying a lot of that same stuff now because I had my first kid 9 months ago.
Okay,
But that was thank you, my first my own business sales. And then fast forward one more time to my first B2B business, my own brand, away from kind of the Amazon world. I pretty much started offering free hours of virtual assistants. I had all these VAs for my Amazon business that were great. Amazon was getting harder. I didn't sell my own product. Manufacturers realized they could do it themselves. But I had this great team, and I started offering it to other e-commerce sellers. And so I would go on Facebook. I would go on Craigslist. I would just go anywhere that I could see with job posting and just say, hey, I have these pre-vetted e-commerce VAs. Can I give you 10, 15, 20, whatever it took to get that potential customer free hours? And I still had to pay the VA, so this was money out of my pocket. But that's how I got the initial clients for Free Up and launched it with that $5,000, and the rest is history.
Wow. What do you think some lessons you learned about getting those first customers? Would you do it any different if you had to do it over today?
So I'm a big fan of minimum viable product and selling it as early as possible. With Free Up, we had nothing. We had this crummy software we built that you could see the freelancers' hours. That was it. Didn't do anything else. And we just sold it. And I built trust with people. I kind of assured people that I'd have their back if anything went wrong. And I did. With those initial clients, if they had any issues, I would refund them, give them credit, cover replacement costs, whatever it was. Luckily, that didn't happen very often, but that kind of built a sense of trust. And at the same time, I was open and honest with these customers. I said, hey, this is a new company. Our plan is to grow this thing. I have your back if anything goes wrong, but like there are going to be speed bumps that like any new company. And we want feedback. We want to know how we can make this better over time. And we kind of shared our journey as we went. So those initial clients became raving fans as we kept going. Now, we did the same thing with our other companies. When we launched Outsource School, which is my company that teaches people how to hire, and we launched this post Free Up, we had no idea if people wanted a course on how to hire great VAs. We sold the course before we even made the course. We just did a pre-sale and said, hey, we'll give it to you at a cheaper price than what we're going to launch. If you've been following me and you enjoyed the Free Up journey, it's yours if you want it. And if people didn't buy it, we would have just never built it. If people got the course when we finally built it and wanted a refund, we would have just refunded everyone and moved on to something else. And fast forward again to bookkeeping business. I own Accounts Balance, an online bookkeeping business for online businesses, and Ecom Balance, a bookkeeping business for e-commerce sellers. We went out and we tried to give away 2 free months of bookkeeping. And if we couldn't give away 2 free months of bookkeeping, or those people didn't stay on, again, we didn't have a business. And we did the same thing with True SEO. We offered free articles. We do a lot of SEO content that we now offer as a service through Trio. And that was how we got our initial clients. So I'm a big proponent of that. If you can't sell it at a discount, if you can't sell it free, if you can't give it away and keep those initial clients, you don't really have a business.
So I've heard some entrepreneurs complain, like if they give things away for free, sometimes you can get the quote unquote wrong target customer that may not be with you long term or be willing to pay higher prices later and that kind of thing. How do you account for that?
So we look at it two ways. For one, we definitely like vet the buyers in some way. Like with our bookkeeping business, we have certain specifications. And in certain situations that there might be cleanup work or additional stuff there. But we're not just trying to take anyone. They have to be some kind of legit business. So the second way is we don't really care if some of the initial people drop off. We kind of expect it, but we use them to improve the process. So bookkeeping, for example, when you sign up, we have to get you a quote quickly. We got to integrate you. We got to have a kickoff call, and then we got to catch up your book. So just by putting like 5 clients through that, even if 2 of them drop off, we're going to learn a lot and improve the process for down the line. Now, if all 5 of them drop off, that's different. But I think we had like 20, 25 initial customers. A few of them dropped off. We also learned a bit about what an ideal client looks like for our business, and that helped us going forward.
All right, let's back up a little bit and break down kind of step by step some of the tactics you use to get those very first customers. You went over it briefly, but could you get a little more in depth on the different ways you found them?
Yeah, I created a canned template that just said, hey, my name's Nathan. I was an e-commerce seller. I hired a lot of VAs for my e-commerce business, and I know hiring is a struggle. It took me years to figure out how to hire really good people, but when it did, it changed my life. And I gave people a story that it related to, a true story. And I said, hey, like I launched this new company, FreeUp. I know it's new. I know it's tough to trust new people, but if you're ever looking for VAs and you want to give it a shot, your first 5 hours are on me or something along those lines. And then I tried everything. I tried going to other marketplaces and posting profiles there. I tried going on Craigslist and remote job boards and posting there. I did it on social media and just made posts about, hey, if you know any business owner looking for VAs, we're giving away 5 free hours. So it was pretty much, how do I get this message and get it out there? And then I would tweak it over time. And let's say I would come across someone online that would say, hey, I'm looking to hire a customer service rep. I'm looking to hire a bookkeeper, whatever it was. I would get their email and try a variation of the email to see what would work. And we actually landed some really big clients that were with us for all 4 years in that initial first month or two of FreeUp, just by doing that.
So was email marketing a big part of that initial outreach? Was it just pure cold email outreach? Or you said there was social media and stuff. Which channel did you see perform the best?
Yeah, cold outreach landed our initial clients. And I also just said, hey, I'm going to post on social media every day. And I didn't really have any followers or anyone back then, but I just said, hey, I'm just going to focus on being consistent every single day. Facebook was my go-to at the time. And I just made a post on Facebook. I would either teach someone about hiring or make an offer. And the cold email definitely was the first way that we got clients, but social media soon turned into another way. And to keep going, like I started going on podcasts after that. Now there's a lot of podcasts. Back then there were not many. Now I've been on 900 plus podcasts, but it was a great way to get in front of ideal audience and network with podcast hosts and get my brand out into the e-commerce space. So those are kind of the free, easy ways that we got our message out there and landed our initial client.
Did you transition into paid advertisement at some point?
We didn't. We probably spent maybe a few $1,000s on ads. We tried out some Google retargeting. We got really good at just organic marketing. If you go to outsourceschool.com/organic marketing, it's our exact organic marketing blueprint that we use for all of our companies. We drive traffic through SEO. We go on podcasts. We have partner programs, different people in the space that have the same ideal customer, but a different service that we're constantly doing cross promotions with. We put out a lot of content on social media. We have really good reoccurring affiliate programs in all of our companies that we mention to everyone, and our clients refer other clients and get kickbacks from it. And there's a few other things as well, but that's kind of our organic marketing blueprint that we do on all of our companies now. And a lot of people use Outsource School to hire VAs to do it for them.
You mentioned something that came up during the last episode with Richard White, the CEO of Fathom, about using those initial customers to improve your product and iterate. Could you talk a little bit about that? What was your process for handling that kind of customer feedback and that initial burst of customers?
Nice. We use Fathom. They're great.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, we always want feedback. The first thing is just being open and honest that we want feedback and telling people like, hey, we're not going to be perfect, and kind of setting those expectations. And hey, if you're looking for an established business that has all their systems dialed in, like that's not us. Go find someone else and all that. But if you want someone where you're going to get a really good rate, you're going to get hooked up, you're going to have me there if anything goes wrong, a much more personal experience, and someone that's actually going to listen to your feedback and improve as we go, I'm your guy, and I'd love to work with you. And with that, we would check in with clients. And with FreeUp, you got to remember that there's two sides of the marketplace. There's the clients, and then there's the freelancers that we're getting on. So we created this marketplace, and all these freelancers, they can go on Upwork, they can go on Fiverr. So we wanted to make FreeUp the best place for them. We also wanted them to stay on the platform and keep building through the platform. And same thing on the client. So throughout that, we're always listening to feedback. We want people to feel heard. We're always trying to improve, and we're trying to put steps in place if something does go wrong. If someone hired a freelancer and didn't work out or whatever it was, how do we put steps in place so that that doesn't happen again? And then you got the software that holds it all together. We were building like an Airbnb type portal that people could log in, put in a request, get matched up. So then it becomes all these feature requests that we're getting from clients, we're getting from freelancers. How do we prioritize these? What moves the needle? How do we balance long-term projects for short-term projects, and trying to get that feedback out there as quick as possible? And we'll tell people, like, we listen to feedback, we write it all down, but we can't implement every piece of feedback instantly. So you have to prioritize at the end of the day.
So when you were building FreeUp over that 4-year period, you started off you yourself spreading the message however you could, telling them your story to get those first customers. Did you transition to like a sales team, or how did you expand or kind of delegate and move out of that position, or did you stay on that position the whole time?
Yeah, we teach VAs to do everything. So we had VAs in the Philippines doing sales calls for us, and they would go through FreeUp and take requests for clients that they wanted and put into the portal for them. It was very white glove. We had a whole marketing team that's putting out content. People are doing SEO strategy and writing articles for our blog. Partnership manager that's managing all these different e-commerce software companies and different partners where we're doing cross promotions and keeping that organized. We want to be more organized on our end, so that like other people's partner managers might not be that organized. We want to be so organized that it makes it easy for them to do business with us and do cross promotions with us. People running our social media. Over time, I mean, by the time we sold it, we had no office, no U.S. employees, but we had a 30-person team in the Philippines doing everything from operation fulfillment to sales to marketing to billing, you name it.
That's beautiful. So you're fully kind of fleshed out a full digital marketing funnel. It sounds like you leveraging every modern aspect of technology you can get a hold of.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, not every business works. We created this SOP building software called Simply SOP. And we did the same process. We minimal viable product, what's like the bare minimum that we can build. We took it to market and we tried to sell it, and there was not enough interest. People like their Google Docs, they like their Loom. We pivoted, we moved on to something else, and like luckily we didn't spend 4 years working on this project. It was a few months, and it didn't really cost us much time or effort. So it goes both ways. Not every business that you hit is going to be a success, but if you prove that you can sell it first, that's going to tell you a lot about the market.
That's a really interesting insight. Trust in your process, and then also that specific niche of anything that starts to compete with Google Docs, Google Sheets, Loom, those really fast, easy ways to document things. A lot of tools out there, I feel like, end up becoming more work just using the tool than just, hey, go back to the good old Office suite products, basically.
Yeah, and there's a market research part ahead of that. Like before we launched a bookkeeping business, I'm not a bookkeeper, so I didn't know anything about bookkeeping business. And we interviewed people. We published those interviews to the Econ Balance blog if anyone wants to check it out. But we want to know, can you name 5 competitors? Like, what do you like about your bookkeeper? What do you not like? What do they charge you? And see if there's an actual market before spending any time on it. And you're brainstorming ideas all the time. I'm sure you do this. Like with my business partner, we're constantly throwing around bad ideas. But when you have something that you think is a good idea, now it becomes do market research, find an operator, because now we don't launch a business without an operator, and then prove you can sell it before you do anything else.
What do you mean by find an operator? I'm assuming that's the person who runs kind of the day-to-day of each of your businesses. Talk a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I have 4 businesses now. My goal is to get up to 10 plus a media company that promotes Connor and my personal brand and all the marketing for our companies. And so we couldn't run all those businesses together if we wanted to without a lot of help. So, and on top of that, like I'm at a different point in my life now. For Free Up, I was hustling all the time, going to every conference. Now I don't do any work travel. I refuse to go to any conferences. Just personally, I want to run a business that doesn't require me to go places. I don't work after 3 p.m. on the weekdays. I don't work weekends. I only go on podcasts that I want to go on. So I'm very particular about our time. And in order to do that, I have to put really good people into these positions. And I mean, bookkeeping, for example, I'm not a bookkeeper. I couldn't do fulfillment or run a bookkeeping business even if I wanted to. So we had to find a controller with 30 years of experience that's been there, done that, that has our values, that's going to be with us a long time, that we can support. And with those operators, they have that entrepreneurial spirit, but they don't love all parts of it. They don't like sales. They don't like marketing. They don't love all the things around it, but they're super organized. They've been there. They have systems. They can build systems that they don't have it. And we can just every week check in with them and say, how can we support you? Can we help you with a problem, software, with hiring someone, with more clients, whatever it is? And that's kind of how we run our companies now, where we're checking with the operators. We're out of operation, and we're also running our media company to push clients to these different businesses.
Wow. Do you have this visualized anywhere?
Yes.
I guess internally, probably, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we've got internal docs and stuff. I don't have like a template or anything. I do have, if you go to nathanhirsch.com/exit, we have this exit playbook that teaches you how we build our businesses to be scalable and sellable. Even if you don't want to sell your company, like Free Up, we didn't have to sell it, but it had really good teams, really good processes, diverse marketing, clients coming from different directions, good leadership, reoccurring revenue. There's just certain things that we look for in a business and the way that we build a business that we're happy to share with others.
Would you recommend any books? I mean, I see that you got a color coordinated stacks of books behind you on your shelves. And it seems like you've got really dialed in systems and everything. So I'd be curious to see what you'd recommend for others who are trying to build businesses out there.
Yeah, so when I went through the sale of Free Up, I knew very little, and I relied on a lot of mentors just teaching me about the process. I didn't know about earnouts and non-competes or what to expect after the sale or what buyers look for or due diligence or any of that stuff. So there's a great book on the shelf behind me called Entrepreneurial Playbook by Joe Valley. He's been a business broker in the space. He's a friend of mine. He knows just a lot about just deals and the ins and outs, and every deal is different. And just having that background helps you build a business, because at the end of the day, the things that buyers care about is the same things that you should care about in your business, and doing things right, even stuff like he talks in the book about hiring a good bookkeeper from day one. That's what we do for all of our companies. Like, it's why we started a bookkeeping business. Hiring a great bookkeeper for Free Up was one of the best decisions we ever made on the first day we started the company, even before we were profitable, because we had clean, immaculate books. Every single month, we made good decisions on the numbers, and we passed due diligence when we got to that point. So stuff like that the average entrepreneur might not think about, I recommend checking out Entrepreneurial.
Okay. Man, you've offered a lot of great insights in a short amount of time here. I think that's about it for today. Any parting advice for people who want to get into entrepreneurship? I mean, you've started so many companies. Most people never get one successful company off the ground, and it sounds like you've got, I guess, 5 at least going that you've got on your record. So what do you think those kind of biggest, most important takeaways that somebody should consider before starting a business or in the process?
Yeah, so you can't master everything as an entrepreneur. The sooner you learn what you're good at, what you're not good at, and how to delegate, the better. Hiring is a skill that you can learn. Hiring makes entrepreneurship way easier. If you're bad at hiring, it's always going to hold you back, and it's just a very underrated skill. So learn how to master hiring first. Follow me on social media. I post a lot of content about it, but that's something that's going to really accelerate your growth as an entrepreneur.
Awesome. Well, Nathan, thank you so much, and we'll see everybody on the next episode of the First Customers Podcast.
Thanks for having me.